For to discover the truth that will be credible to your race. Therefore, in a case like that, you would ask, where did the Libyans, Carthaginians, or Egyptians get their civilization from? Following that kind of investigation, you will come upon the truth that it was all original Negro and subsequently became Negroid. That is to say, subsequent people were mixed with other people's blood, who were no doubt conquered by the Negro. As a fact, the original Egyptians were black men and women, and so the Carthaginians and Libyans, but in the later centuries they became mixed in blood, just as the blacks are being mixed in America and the West Indies by the infusion of white blood through the domination of the white man. Never yield to any statement in history or a statement made by an individual caring not how great that the Negro was nobody in history. Even if you cannot prove it, always claim that the Negro was great. Read everything you can get written by Negroes and their ancestry, going back 6,000 years. There are statements in the Bible, in the Old and New Testaments, to show that black was always an important color among the races of men. Abraham had company with a black woman, even though he had his wife, Sarah, by whom he had Ishmael. All the original pharaohs were black. Tutankhamun, whose bones and body were dug up not very long ago at Luxor in Egypt, was a black pharaoh. The Sphinx in Egypt, which has stood through the millenniums, has black features. It is evident that as art, it was portrayed to teach us of the greatness of men. When you are dealing with Jews, let them know that they were once your slaves in Egypt, if you have to say so. There is good grounds for saying that civilization started in Africa and passed from and through northern Africa into southern Europe, from which the Greeks and Romans and the people of Asia Minor made good copies. The swarthy color of the Asiatics and the brunette color of the southern Europeans are due to the fact that the cultured and civilized blacks of Africa mixed their blood with them. Search all history and all literature and the Bible and find facts to support this argument, and hold to it with a grip that will never loosen. Things that may not be true can be made so if you repeat them long and often enough. Therefore, always repeat statements that will give your race status and an advantage. That is how the white man has built up his system of superiority. He is always telling you he is superior, and he has written history and literature to prove it. You must do the same. One of the great backgrounds for your argument, which cannot be disputed, is that you are older than any other man as a race because you are black. Your argument is that in nature, everything by way of age darkens. Because you are darker than the rest of men, proves logically that you are older than the rest of men. Another proof of that is that even among white people, they grow darker in age, in skin, as they grow older in age in a lifetime. If one individual were to live for 6,000 years, he would surely not be white. If he were born white, he would be as dark as the darkest of men. Therefore, the argument that the black man is black because as man he is older than the other man is good. Use it everywhere you go to defeat the white man in his belief that you sprung from something else. Use the argument that the white man is white because most of the time when the black man was great in Africa and had succeeded in running him across the Mediterranean in southern Europe, he had to hide himself in caves where there was very little light and air. He was almost covered up for most of the time in darkness. In natural creation, the child in the womb of the mother is almost white. Even though it is a black child, it is almost born white and doesn't change color until it comes in contact with light and air. Living in caves for as many centuries, the white man therefore became colorless, and the length of time made it so that he was born naturally white. You must interpret anthropology to suit yourself. The thing for you to do is to refute every pertinent statement of the white man that tends to degrade you and to elevate him. Turn the tables on him and search for all reasons in the world you can find to justify it. That is how new thoughts are given out by creation. Never yield to the statement of your inferiority. In reading Christian literature and accepting the doctrine of Jesus Christ, lay special claim to your association with Jesus and the Son of God. Show that while the white and yellow worlds, that is to say, the worlds of Europe and Asia Minor, persecuted and crucified Jesus, the Son of God, it was the black race through Simon, the black Cyrenian, who befriended the Son of God and took up the cross and bore it alongside of him up to the heights of Calvary. Therefore, the Roman Catholics have no rightful claim to the cross, nor any other professing Christian before the Negro makes his claim. The cross is the property of the Negro in his religion because it was he who bore it. Never admit that Jesus Christ was a white man. Otherwise, he could not be the Son of God and the God to redeem all mankind. Jesus Christ had the blood of all races in his veins, and tracing the Jewish race back to Abraham and to Moses, from which Jesus sprang through the lines of Jesse, you will find Negro blood everywhere. Therefore, Jesus had mostly Negro blood in him. Read the genealogical tree of Jesus in the Bible, and you will learn from where he sprang. It is a fact that the white man has borrowed his civilization from other peoples. The first civilization was the Negroes. Black people, the original civilization, was the brown people's Indians. The third civilization belonged to yellow people, the Chinese or Mongols. The last civilization, up to the present, belongs to the white man. All civilization goes back to the black man in the Nile Valley of Africa. Therefore, in your reading, search for all these facts. Never stop reading and never stop until you find the proof of them. You must pay great attention to sociology. Get the best books on the subject that you can and read them thoroughly. Find out the social relationship among other races so that you may know how to advise your people in their social behavior. Never admit that the Negro is more immoral than the white man. Try to prove the contrary. Socially, the white man has debauched and debased all other races because of his dominant power. He is responsible for more illegitimacy among the races than any other race. He has left bastard children everywhere he has been. Therefore, he is not competent to say that he is socially and morally purer than any other race. The mixed population among Negroes from slavery to the present in certain countries is due to the white man's immorality. Therefore, if you should hear anyone talking about moral depravity among Negroes and the moral excellence of the whites, draw the above facts to their attention. When through reading and research you have discovered any new fact helpful to the dignity, prestige, character, and accomplishment of the Negro, always make a noise about it. You should always keep with you a notebook and fountain pen and indelible pencil and make a note in that book of anything you hear or see that you would like to remember. Always keep at home a larger notebook in which you must transfer the thought or experience so that it will not be lost to your memory. At least once every 3 months, read over the book, and as the book becomes more voluminous with facts, read it over at least once a year. By constantly reading these facts, they will be planted in your subconscious mind, and you will be able to use them without even knowing that you are doing so. By keeping your facts and your very important experiences on record, at the end of a full life, you may have a volume of great value, such as Elbert Hubbard's scrapbook. Get a copy of this book. It contains valuable inspiration. Always have a thought. Always make it a beautiful thought. The world is attracted to beauty, either in art or in expression. Therefore, try to read, think, and speak beautiful thoughts, beautiful things. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever God may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Invicticus by W.E. Henley.
Please subscribe and hit that notification bell to hear lesson 2. Your support can do more than you know. God bless you, and please never let the world convince you of who we were, who we are, and what we can be.